Alright everyone, and welcome back to our MotoGP 15 career. In the previous race we started the season proper with the Qatar Grand Prix and finished just outside the points, missed out by the smallest of margins, only a few hundredths of a second, and we were 16th in that race. And hopefully this time we can actually score some points then and actually get the first Mahindra points on the board then, because it does seem that our bike isn't as competitive as the other manufacturers, and certainly as a private team it'll be more difficult for us to develop the bike, I guess, to start off with. But we're getting a little email about that just now and to start things off. And today we've got the Grand Prix of the Americas then at Austin, and here is the qualifying session.
Hello from Austin. There's already a buzz of excitement inside the paddock, and in a few minutes race direction will get the qualifying session underway. Judging from the information we're getting, we're probably looking at a dry session, but it'll definitely be cloudy.
So here we are then on our first run then in this qualifying session, and quite a long run to the line there, and well, this is a very long track actually on a Moto3 bike, so we come across the line. It's a 2:22.5 then, nearly four seconds off the pace, but we are got that little upgrade there then, so all these of course will be coming into effect at the next race then, the ones we pick up this weekend. And on the next lap then we improved by quite a bit then, we improved to a 2:19.9, so quite a bit of improvement there. We've closed into just a second and a half behind then, up to 10th place for now, dropping to 13th by near the end of the session then, but still in a good position here. You can see in the top right we actually set a best first sector of anyone then, and two personal bests in the second and third sectors then. So as we come to the line then, and it is 8th place then, so this is a very good qualifying session then is shaping up to be. And we could have actually gone a bit quicker, I think, but we did a bit of a slow lap then, and now up towards turn 1 on our final run, and just getting it a little bit too aggressive on the brakes and a low side there. But those are the results from qualifying, and we're in the middle of the third row, so that's a very encouraging result for us there, with Danny Kent taking pole position once again. And looking further down, we were comfortably the fastest Mahindra then, over a second faster than Francesco Bagnaia in his Mahindra, and Matteo Ferrari just behind him as well. So we're now going to go ahead to the race.
A warm welcome to the United States to all our viewers. We're here at the Circuit of the Americas to bring you live coverage of the Moto3 race. The riders are going to have to put up with some inconsistent weather over the course of the day. At the moment, the surface is wet after some light rain, but we don't have any precise information about conditions later on.
So, of course there was something that had to just ruin it, and it's going to be a wet race, and as they said, it's only a wet track for now. It doesn't seem to be raining at this stage, but we'll have to see if it does as the race goes on then. And just run through the grid now then, all 34 riders then, and we'll have to see how this wet race goes then, and just waiting now for the start. So here we are then on the grid, and hopefully we can get a good start here then and actually stay on the bike. The lights are coming on now, and away we go then in Austin. And it's a decent start actually, considering the conditions, and I guess everyone just struggling in these early laps. See a bit of spray being kicked up then, as it's a little bit wet offline. So we get into turn 1, I actually overdid it a little bit, went wide, and I'm down to 10th place already then, and straight away could notice the difference between the dry and the wet, and I put the traction control straight back up just for this race, and because I was struggling, I knew I was going to struggle without it in this race, as we're all over the place in this sort of Maggots and Beckett style corners, and dropping down to 14th, and in fact it looks like it's going to be 15th, is it? No, we maintain 14th for now then, and just have to hope that we can get to grips with these situations as we get the back tyre up off the ground there, and that's dropped us down to 19th place now then, and we'll just have to try and gain back some of these places now then, and sort of get into a rhythm really as we pass Ono, I think, and it's going to try and force him out wide then. It's down this downhill left-hander. Now we're looking at Ferrari and Fanati up ahead of us then, and I think it's Bagnaia in front of him as well then in the Mahindra. So once again we're getting the braking wrong, but it looks like Fanati's crashed then, and I think there's someone else down as well there as well. I'm not sure, but we're up to 16th place then, and we're battling Francesco Bagnaia then. This is about with the Mahindras then, and it looks like we're back through then for now, up to 15th place with that slipstream, and down this long straight. It's so difficult to find where the right braking is. I mean, even in the dry, is just not really any markers you can go by. And I was quite cautious to allow Bagnaia through, and in fact Ono as well then. He was looking to our inside, and then we just made a mistake anyway. So yeah, we're back down to 17th place for now then, so close to the back of Ono there in that little tricky complex, but we're now going into the left-hander, looking at the inside maybe. We do have a good run here though at the inside. Oh, and we've just been wiped out by Ono, and yeah, I won't do the joke this time, but we do have that one rewind, so we're going to use that now then. But that is going to make things difficult for us, because now we've got to do the best part of 4 laps, more than 4 laps with no rewind, so it's really just can't be any more mistakes now then. So we're back at the inside of Ono then, up into 16th place. We might actually get a good run on Bagnaia here then as we head towards the penultimate corner. We're looking to the inside, we don't want to make the same mistake twice, so we do climb a lot over the curbs, but we stayed on the bike and we did have the pace, but then, well, of course we had a terrible line, so Bagnaia was straight back through on us. And yeah, one thing I have noticed though, which I do like, is like just the big difference between the dry and the wet in this game, as Ono's lining us up once again. But yeah, I remember like on 13 there was literally no difference. I think there was a bit of a difference on 14, but I think in this one it's really highlighted, and they've done a good job with it. So yeah, I'm certainly happy with it, and I wasn't really happy with it at the time. There's been a crash up ahead for Isaac Vinales, but yeah, as I'm saying, I think they've done a really good job, like with the real differences in the wet, and the graphics look nice and the handling's more difficult. So yeah, I have to applaud them for that then, and sort of take back some of the comments I said earlier on. Well, actually before I even played the game, so I was very ignorant of me to say it, but that it was just looked so similar to the previous gen games. As we are back past Ono then, and looking straight at Bagnaia here then, and in fact Isaac Vinales, who's sort of part of this group now then, having dropped back. But yeah, you don't really get like sort of the groups that you see in dry races in these kind of conditions, because it's all just about like getting a good feel for the sort of wet conditions. I mean, I remember a few years ago Fanati winning by about 36 seconds or something in a wet race, and might have been like in damp conditions or something like that, as Onos go back up the inside of us then. And yeah, so these this wet race will be quite a bit different to the dry ones. I mean, I'm not really seeing the sort of the groups forming. I mean, it's sort of everyone's sort of just got sort of their own sort of gaps to each other, I guess you could say, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I mean, I guess it doesn't, but nonetheless, we're on the brakes now then towards this left-hander at the end of the very long straight, and it looks like Ono and Bagnaia are battling in front of us, and we really need to try and catch back up then. There's just a few corners here and there where I'm just not as quick as them, I guess, and that's where I'm losing the time. But looks like we've got a very good run through there then. Looks like that's one place where we are strong, and once again we're lining up Ono. We've got a much better line this time. In fact, we're nearly going to the back of Bagnaia there, but we're up into 16th place then, and that is yeah, that's much more what we wanted to do then, rather than that first lap incident with Ono. But yeah, this right-hander seems to be just one of the corners where I'm a lot quicker than the rest of the AI, because yeah, passing Bagnaia there then, and we had a good run on him on the previous lap, but I sort of messed it up. But yeah, we're now right on the back of Livio Loy and Isaac Vinales then, who battling now for 13th place then, as we have a little bit of contact with them there, as yeah, we come out onto the straight then once again, and cross the line then any second now to begin the third lap. We've got a nice double slipstream here then from Vinales and Loy, and looking to the inside, but I think better of it then. But then I sort of let it run a little bit, and I was saying I had a little bit of contact with them, and luckily it wasn't a crash, because I honestly at the time I thought it was going to be. And round 10-2 then, and yeah, just have to see if there's any kind of open that might form here then, as we head through this twisty section, then any chance to maybe send one at the inside. But looks like we have actually managed to do that then, just having a little bit of carrying a little bit more speed than Loy, maybe just a little bit more confidence then, as we sort of like get going really in this race. So the confidence will just be building more and more over time then, as we're past Livio Loy now then, up into 14th place, and looking at Vinales now then, cousin of Maverick, who was a world champion in this series in 2013, and of course now racing in MotoGP. But we're lining Isaac up now then, and just doesn't seem like we're close enough really, and still not with 100% confidence, and yeah, you can't really do the cutback on the sort of tight corners like this in these kind of conditions. Just in the wet you can't really get the same sort of lean angles, unfortunately. I mean, in some corners you can, but not in like those kind of tight corners, so yeah, not really a chance for us to try and cut underneath and take the position then. And then I think we might actually be under threat here from Loy again. He was in the slipstream down the straight, and he might have a look at this into his left-hander. This is where we haven't really had much speed in, and in fact the back tyre lightened up quite a bit there. Lucky I did have traction control back on there, because I'd have probably been thrown straight off the bike there. But we haven't, and we're still in 14th place for now then, just past halfway in this race I believe, and yeah, still maintain this 14th place as once again the bike sliding about and getting sideways, and praise the traction control there then, because yeah, that was two certain big crashes that have been avoided now then because of that. And yeah, we're still in 14th place and 2 points on the cards at this stage, and yeah, as our confidence sort of builds in these conditions, then maybe we can go back on the attack, because as I say, there hasn't really been a big group that's pulled away so far. We're actually past Isaac Vinales and into 13th place, but he's going to look straight back at us then down the pit straight, that is. And yeah, it's Husqvarna's then. I think it's on a Husqvarna anyway, but he's at the inside of us then, and into 13th place once again then in this Mahindra. Well, we need some good points from it really, because the Mahindra bike doesn't seem to be as competitive as the other three manufacturers then in this race, in this season even. But we do have a good run here then in the Maggots and Beckett's complex, and I don't know if that's actually what they're called, but well, that's not what they're called obviously, but that's just what I obviously always call those corners there, because they resemble it so much. And yeah, we're just looking for any kind of opening here, and it looks like we've actually got it here then, and he's trying to fight back, but no, we're back. We're up into 13th place for now then, and it's Andrea Locatelli in front of us then in 12th place. And yeah, it looks like there's still a few bikes in that we could realistically pass here then, and gain maybe a few places back. I'm not sure if we'd get back that 8th place that we started in, but as Vinales goes back over inside, and yeah, you see there, I couldn't get the lean angle to sort of cut back on him there as he went at the inside. But I do have a good slipstream though, so hopefully we can pass him back as we head down. It's a long back straight, and it's a very, very long on the Moto3 bike, just no the speed of like a MotoGP bike, or you know, like F1, which obviously I have plenty of experience of playing this track on. But yeah, we're back at the inside of Vinales, and it looks like we're starting to get a little bit more confidence into that left-hander, and starting to really find where the ideal braking point for that corner is. And we're up into 13th place now then. This is part of the track where we're certainly strong in sort of this fourth sector, and we're looking at Locatelli then. I don't think we're really close enough though, unfortunately, but we do get right behind him now then, and hopefully that'll give us a good run through these series of right-handers now then, as we yeah, we just got a very good run here then. It doesn't seem that the AI are as quick as us there, so we're climbing a little bit over the curb, and in fact that compromises our line. It allows Locatelli a bit of a drive around the outside and maintains the place for now then, but we do manage to cut back underneath, a little bit of contact there though, and we're up into 12th place. So yeah, this isn't turned into too bad of a ride then so far. We're just over a lap to go, and it looks like there's still a few more places that we could gain here then, as it's Antonelli and McPhee ahead of us then, and maybe if we can avoid too many battles with those behind us, we can catch him back up then. And as I say, that Locatelli is fighting back, and up the inside he goes into turn 1, and we do actually get a little bit of a cutback there then, but just not enough to retake the place then. But through turn 2 we can get a good line, and that's exactly what we've done then. A little bit more of a high speed corner, so we do get a little bit more of a lean angle there, and we do retake the place and up into 12th place. And yeah, they're not far ahead of us there then, McPhee and Antonelli, and even a few others there that are quite close. So if we can keep it together then on this final lap, we could maybe take a few places here then, maybe get a top 10 finish, which isn't bad. I mean, points go up to 15th, so we're still on for a few points here anyway. So we're right behind Antonelli then, and see if we can get a good run through here then. But no, we've just had a little bit too much throttle there, and a big high side then, and well, luckily no damage done to the bike, so we can sort of respawn and get back on with it straight away. But we're down to 15th place. I mean, we've still got a point there at least, but that's a big disappointment, because we were looking good for maybe even a top 10 finish there, and now we got to make sure that we just get like the 1 point here then. But yeah, you saw there that I really wasn't even pushing that much. It was just a little bit too much as we went over the curb, and yeah, it certainly punished us. And yeah, so I guess a good point of this game then, that it really just sort of punished those mistakes in the wet conditions, as Lloyd's going side by side with us down the straight. He's pretty much level on braking as well then, and we try and cut back on him there, but it didn't really work out again. So we're down to 16th place for now then, unfortunately, but we got the inside of him into that right hander, and we're back through. Is he going to cut back this time? No, he isn't, because we've just sort of really done what he did to us on the previous corner. So yeah, we're back into 15th place for now then. In fact, we may even be looking at Ono before the end of this race, and although he is quite a way ahead of us, as you can see, a second and a half, but this is the part of the track that we're very quick on. So yeah, it looks like, and in fact we are just, as you can see, catching him very, very quickly here then, as we head into these final two left-handers and to finish off the race. And what a tense one it has been in these conditions, and unfortunately it wasn't a bit more, as we got the inside of Ono then over the curb, and it looks like we've taken position up. He's obviously going to try and fight back towards the line, and he's going to have a better run on us then, because he had sort of took the race in line. But as we come to line, and we've just taken that 14th place then in Austin, a very close finish once again for sort of the third race in a row in this career mode series. And so it's Danny Kent who takes a win then, once again. That's his second win of the season then, from Fabio Quartararo and Efren Vasquez. Then they ran up the podium, then all Honda podium. And yeah, there we go then, our first points of the season. It says there was a photo finish for 14th, but it doesn't look like it from certainly our view. And yeah, we take our first points of the season and Mahindra's then in 14th place, so we can be happy with that then, that we were the best in Mahindra's, and that we finally got our points in. That will help us to develop the bike a bit. And yeah, the next Mahindra then was Francesco Bagnaia in 18th place. So yeah, we were comfortably the best of the Mahindra's, and we see a few retirements then: Ferrari, Ertl, Guevara. There's the standings then, Danny Kent with a 10-point lead now then, having won both races so far. Quartararo is second in both races so far as well then. But look further down then, and there we are then in 15th place now with 2 points. And yeah, only a couple behind Finati then, and just ahead of Ono there, I believe it was. And yeah, the only Mahindra to score points so far then, it shows it there in the constructors then. Mahindra with 2 points then, but I mean, they really would be hoping for a lot better than that then, compared to Honda, KTM and Husqvarna. But that is it then for this race. If you did enjoy it, then leave a like on the video, and I'll see you next time then for the Argentine Grand Prix. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.